Okay, in this video, Hermsen teaches you how to take a number into engineering notation. Now, as far as why you would need to take it into engineering notation, you know about as much as about that as I do. Instead of scientific, what's the advantage that in scientific? Well, I'll read what the book says. It says engineering notation is very similar to scientific notation. In engineering notation, the exponents of the 10 are always multiples of 3. So your powers of 10 are going to be like 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, or like negative 15, negative 12, negative 9, and so forth. Okay. Here's the upshoot of what they tell me why this is better. This has advantages over scientific. The main advantage of engineering notation is when SI metric units are used. In the metric system, the most widely used prefixes are for every third power of 10. So like, for example, kilometers, there's like 1,000 meters in kilometers, so like 10 to the third, and so forth like that. Okay, I'm not an engineer, so, yeah, this is on the test, so that's why I'm teaching it. Okay, there's rules. You have a rule sheet for engineering, so you can kind of look at it. It says, rules here. In scientific notation, there had to be one digit in front of the decimal, and it couldn't be 0, okay? It had to be something else, one digit. Has to be between 1 and 3 digits before your decimal in engineering notation. 1 and 3. If there are 4, the decimal has to move. If there are 5 or more, the decimal has to move. Okay? There can only be between 1 and 3 before the decimal. Now you can count zeros as digits, but 0 can't be the only thing you have, or it doesn't count. Okay? So if I have like 9300 before a decimal, that counts as 4. But if I just have a 0 before the decimal, that does not count as your one digit. So you can have one digit, but you can have 2, you can have 3. You can't be outside that range. Another thing, you can only move the decimal in multiples of 3. Scientific, you can just move it individually, but multiples of 3 in engineering. So let's kind of put this into practice here. Okay, so the decimal lies here. How many digits are before it? 3. That falls in that range, so that is the answer. Now the next one, where's the decimal? Here, you're going to put a negative here. There are 4. 4 does not fall between 1 and 3. You need to move it because you have too many, so you shrink it by moving it to the left, okay? But you can only move it in multiples of 3. 1, 2, 3. Now how many numbers are before the decimal? 1. Well, that falls in that range, so I'm ready to write my answer. Negative 3.789, and the decimal's no longer there, times 10. Now I moved it to the left, so it's positive, and I moved it 3 times. Okay, my next one, 959,100, decimals at the end. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, I'm counting the zeros, okay? If I have other stuff with the zeros, we count the zeros, okay? So that's 6. That's too many. You need to go to the left, so you shrink it. 1, 2, 3. Now how many are there? 3, okay? So that falls in the range, so I stop there. So my decimal, I have 959 in front of it. There's a 1 after it. Don't put extra zeros behind the decimal. Times 10. You moved it 3 times to the left, so it's positive 3. And again, on this sheet, you might want to write the rules. You move left, it's positive exponent. You move right, it's negative exponent. Okay, now your decimal's here. Having only a 0 in front of it means you don't have enough because you have 0 digits in front of the decimal. Okay, you can count 0, but you got to have other stuff with it. You have nothing with that. Okay, so you don't have enough, so you got to move it to the right. So 1, 2, 3, you still don't have enough. You still have nothing but zeros. 4, 5, 6, now I have 1 digit. Okay. Well, that's good. 1 and 3. 1, 2, or 3. So my decimal is here now. it would be 3.75 times 10. And we moved it 6 times, but we moved it to the right, so it's -6. Now, I hate the way they have us do this one here. I really do. Okay, really, really do. Because really, the whole point of this is to make the number smaller. This doesn't really accomplish that, but I'll show you what to do. Okay, it's an annoying problem. Okay, now, what do you have before the decimal? Since you have other things, you have zeros, but you have other things with those zeros, so you count the zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's way too many. Okay, so we go to the left. 1, 2, 3. You got 5 now, that's still too many. 4, 5, 6, okay? Now you have 2, that falls in the range we want. Now here's what annoys me about this problem. Your decimals here, you got a 35. You have to write all this crap out because there's a 5 at the end. 700,005 times 10. I hate that because it kind of defeats the purpose. Okay? So you moved it 6 to the left, so it's +6. That is the answer. I looked it up and used a generator and all that. All right, so you got negative. Now, just having a 0 does not count. Okay, you don't have enough, so you move to the right. 1, 2, 3. Nothing but zeros. Okay, got to go again. 1, 4, 5, 6. Nothing but zeros. Got to go again. 7, 8, 9, I fill in a 0, and now my decimal's right here, okay? If the decimal's at the end, I don't write it in the answer. I write 920 times 10, and I moved it 9 times, but I moved it to the right, so it's -9. Okay, next one. Decimals here. You are going to count the zeros because you have other numbers, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's way too many. Move it to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 4, okay? That's still too many. 7, 8, 9, okay? Now my decimal's here. So you have -4, 71. You have nothing but zeros after that, so we don't write them. Times 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you moved it to the left, so it's positive. Okay, now this is another dumb one, okay? I don't like any of these, but they are what they want to sign. Decimal at the end. It's obviously way too many numbers. It's not 1, 2, or 3. You have 7. So 1, 2, 3, you got 4, that's still too many. 4, 5, 6, move it another 3. Now you just have the 1. What's annoying is you got 2, but you have to write all this crap out. Times 10. And you can't round, they don't want you rounding. Okay, you're only going to round on what I'm going to show you. So 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You moved it to the left, so it's positive. Okay, now you don't have enough digits before the decimal. Having a 0 in front means 0 digits. So, still at 0. Still at 0. Now I got 2, so that's good, okay? So my decimals here, you're going to put 73 in front of it, and then 75616 behind it. Well, that at least makes it a little more manageable. Okay, and you moved it 9 times to the right, so it's -9. Okay, next one, you're converting that, okay, into engineering notation. Okay. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You notice how I'm counting the zeros because we have other numbers in there, okay? So, way too many. Still way too many. Now we're down to 8. Still too many. There's 5. Now we're finally good. So the decimal ends here with a 30 in front of it. And I put 8, 3, 7, 4, and that's it, because then there's nothing but zeros. Times 10, 3, 6, 9, 12. To the positive 12th because you moved it to the left. Okay, now these are not that hard. They're all in engineering. That's a 6 right there. I explained this like crap on the scientific. That's why it was confusing, so I will do a better job of it. Okay, first I'm going to just simply set up a division where I'm just taking the base numbers. So 34.2 times 543.6. Then on bottom, 26.25 times 15.2. Now I'm going to actually parenthesize those and just put that into my calculator. Okay, so I go parentheses 34.2 times 543.6, close it, divide by parentheses 26.25 times 15.2. Okay, 46, go to, when you're doing these type of problems, go 4 digits out. 40, so I'm going to write 46.5943 because there's an 8 after the 2. Times 10, now here's what I do with my powers of 10. I go 10 to the negative 12 times 10 to the positive 6. 10 to the negative 9th times 10 to the positive 9th. Now, the ones that are negative, we're going to move across the line. These two are going to switch places, so then they become positives, and it's not so darn confusing. 10 to the 9th, 10 to the 12th. Now, I add the exponents on top. That would be 10 to the 15th, and I add the exponents on bottom. That would be 10 to the 21st. 12 plus 9 is. Now, when you actually come down to this point, you delete the one with the smaller power and subtract it from the one on the bottom. So 21 minus 15 is 6. Now, since 10 to the 6 is on the bottom, it will be 10 to the negative 6th. Now, how many numbers do you got before your decimal? You got 2. That's good. We're done. Okay? You don't have to adjust it in engineering as long as there's either 1, 2, or 3. Okay, next one, I'm going to kind of show you again how we're going to do that. And actually, I'm just going to go to my calculator right now, okay? I'm going to put parentheses. I'm going to ignore the powers of 10. I'm going to go 25.7 times 254.74. Then I close the parentheses. I make one parentheses. Then I click the division key. Then I go parentheses 34.87 times 4.57. Times 4.57. Okay, 41.0829, but then there's a 9, so we're going to take that to a 30, okay? 41.0830. Times 10. Now, I'm still going to pull that little trick off with the 10s because they needed an engineering notation. So I'm going to go 10 to the 9th times 10 to the 3rd on top. 10 to the negative 3rd times 10 to the negative 9th. These negatives we're moving to the top. We're not going to move these to the bottom because they're positives. So move them to the top. And all you have to do is add. You're not going to have any on the bottom, okay, that you have to do this with. So 3, 9, 12, 15, 24. And you have 2 digits before the decimal, so that's good. So again, basically you set up the division, but any negatives move to the other side of the line, so we think of them as positives, okay? Now that's a positive 24 because they're all on the top, okay? They're all on the top. If they're all on bottom, it's going to be negative in the denominator. Okay, then you got these ones, okay? So, times, you're simply going to take 3.08 times 8.2. Okay, 25.256. Now, if you're just multiplying and there's no division, you can just add the powers on the 10. 6 plus 9 is 15. You don't need to make that crap with the division. That's good. 2 digits before proper engineering notation. Okay, division. I'm going to divide 350 by 7, and that's 50. Decimals here. Times 10. Now on division, I don't want to be confused, so I'm going to put 10 to the 9th on top, 10 to the negative 6 on bottom. But since that has a negative exponent, I'm going to move it to the 10 to the top where it becomes positive. And then I can just add 9 to 6. It's 15. Okay, there's nothing on the bottom that I have to cancel out. So it's 10 to the power of 15. And there's 2 digits before the decimal, so we're good. That's proper. Okay, now these are pretty annoying, okay, to be honest with you. You're going to cross that out. You have too many digits before the decimal, okay? Because you won't be able to punch that into your calculator. Just trust me, there's too many digits. The calculator will be overload. So, 1, 2, 3. You still got 6 before it. 4, 5, 6. Now you got 2, so you're good. So put a 73.2 times 10 to the power of positive 6. Now here you don't have enough, okay? So 1, 2, 3, still don't have enough. 4, 5, 6, now I have 1. That's good. That's 1, 2, or 3. So 9.23 times 10. And I moved it 6 places to the right, so it's negative 6. Okay, you don't have enough. 1, 2, 3, still not enough. 4, 5, 6, now I got enough. So 8.7 times 10, and we moved it 6 places to the right, so it's negative 6. Put those in parentheses as I put them. Okay, and then the decimals here, that's way too many. So 1, 2, 3, still way too many. You count the zeros here because there's a 9, 6, and a 3 with the zeros. 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now you got on 3, okay? So you're going to have 963 after it's all zeros, so I don't need the decimal. Times 10. And we moved it 12 times to the left, so positive 12. Now you're going to do exactly what I told you to do there with the calculator with the whole numbers. You're going to go parentheses 73.2, and in that parentheses we're going to times by the negative 9.23. Close it, divide by parentheses 8.7 times 963. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Negative 0.0806 times 10. Remember, when doing these problems, round 4 places rather than all that crap. Division, you're going to put your 10 to the 6 times your 10 to the negative 6. Then I'm going to put my 10 to the negative 6 times my 10 to the 12. You need to have the negatives go, well, I guess they're the same, so it wouldn't matter, but I'm going to show proper procedure. Then that's going to the top where it becomes positive. Now I can add those, that's 10 to the 12th, and add those, that's 10 to the 18th. Now we get rid of that one and then just subtract 12 from 18, it's 6. But since 10 to the 6 on the bottom, it has to be 10 to the negative 6th. Okay? Now, that is not in proper form, no, because there's no digits before the decimal. Remember, having a 0 means you don't have enough. So, 1, 2, 3. Now I have the 80. That's enough. That's 2. So 80.6 times 10, and I need to add to the negative 6. I moved it to the forward, so I moved it to the right, so I minus 3. Okay? Because you know how right's negative, so you're going to minus that many, and that's 10 to the negative 9th power. Boom.